Before we jump into today's video, don't forget to scoop up something to munch on at rrgsnacks.com, our online concession stand that has an assortment of beef and bacon jerky, butter toffee peanuts, and gummy sour peach rings. For millions of fans, Skai Jackson grew up right in front of their eyes. She's one of Disney Channel's most recognizable faces, but behind the childhood fame and red carpet appearances, there is now a darker chapter unfolding, one filled with so much drama. At the start of May 2025, everything appeared to be going well for Skai and her baby daddy, DeAndre Bergen, better known as Yerky Yerky. They shared separate photos of themselves driving around Miami in a Lamborghini, and, of course, online users put two and two together and determined that they were in the exotic vehicle together. But then, a week later, all hell broke loose. According to court documents filed in a Los Angeles court, Skai alleges that Yerky assaulted her multiple times, including on Mother's Day 2025. She claims Yerky grabbed her by the hair, slammed her head against a car window, and punched her in the face, all while she was cradling their 3-month-old son. She says that was the last straw. But based on her petition, this wasn't an isolated event. It was the continuation of a long, violent pattern that started while she was pregnant and continued for months. In the court filing, Skai described a harrowing 6-month stretch in 2024 when she says Yerky put his hands on her and demolished her property every week. He allegedly broke her iPhone, destroyed a TV, and left her bruised, traumatized, and emotionally trapped. Perhaps the most chilling claim came from her pregnancy. Skai says he once demanded that she drink bleach to terminate the pregnancy. She also claims he held a knife to her, walked her to her car, and threatened to put the weapon through her stomach if she screamed for help. Psychologically, it's hard to overstate how damaging that level of trauma can be, especially while pregnant. According to the American Psychological Association, domestic abuse during pregnancy can severely increase the risk of anxiety, depression, and PTSD in expectant mothers. It also harms the baby's development, as elevated maternal stress hormones can interfere with fetal growth and neurological health. In Skai's case, the abuse didn't just put her in danger. It threatened her child's future before he even entered the world. So the question that inevitably arises is, how did someone so publicly poised, successful, and seemingly grounded get entangled with a man like this? There's no simple answer, but there is some psychology behind it. Attachment theory suggests that the partners we choose, especially in our first serious adult relationships, are often reflections of our own early emotional experiences. For someone like Skai, who grew up in the spotlight, emotional needs might have been managed more through performance and public perception rather than through deep private intimacy. Children raised in highly structured or fame-oriented environments can sometimes struggle with boundaries in adulthood, mistaking chaos or intensity for passion, or not recognizing early red flags for what they are. Yerky already had legal issues before the baby was even born. He was serving a 90-day sentence for a parole violation when their son came into the world, but Skai stayed. And that's not judgment, it's psychology. Victims of abuse often stay, not because they are weak, but because they are trying to survive. Abuse creates what's known as trauma bonding, a psychological condition where intense emotional experiences, including fear and manipulation, deepen attachment rather than weaken it. The same person who terrifies you may also beg for forgiveness, promise to change, or claim they're your only real support. The brain becomes addicted to the emotional highs and lows, confusing intensity with love. The fact that Skai was pregnant during some of these alleged attacks makes the emotional grip even tighter. Pregnancy is a deeply vulnerable time, both biologically and emotionally. Women are more likely to stay with an abusive partner during pregnancy if they believe the child will somehow fix things, or if they are isolated from friends and family. And let's not forget, Skai is still young, and now, at this stage when her brain is still developing and reaching maturity, she is navigating motherhood, fame, trauma, and now legal action. This isn't just a cautionary tale, it's a blueprint of how early warning signs can evolve into life-threatening situations if ignored. In retrospect, Yerky showed signs of not being the one son, long before this erupted into violence. According to Skai, he demonstrated aggression, destruction of property, and threats during her pregnancy, a time when he should have been her protector. Instead, he allegedly became her tormentor. The problem is, when you're in it, the signs can feel like storms you can weather. You downplay them. You rationalize. You say, it's not that bad, or we say things like, they just need some help. But people rarely change under pressure. Choosing a partner isn't just about love. It's about mental health, emotional safety, and compatibility on a foundational level. When we ignore our intuition or lack the tools to understand what healthy love looks like, we risk forming bonds with people who are emotionally unavailable, manipulative, or violent. And once a child is involved, the stakes skyrocket. Skai is now trying to protect her son and reclaim her peace. Her request for a restraining order includes keeping Yerky 100 yards away from her, their son, and her furry friend. She's also requesting that Yerky enroll in a domestic violence program and begin paying child support, along with covering her legal fees. With what job, you ask? We have no idea. These are not just legal steps she's taking, they are psychological ones. She is asserting her self-worth, her boundaries, and her safety. It's the beginning of rewriting her story, but the scars will take longer to heal. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Interpersonal Violence found that women who experience domestic abuse while pregnant have significantly higher risks of postpartum depression and long-term trauma-related symptoms. And when the abuse involves weapons, as Skai alleges, the fear becomes existential. It's not just about recovering emotionally, it's about surviving. In many ways, Skai is being forced to grow up again, but this time under far harsher conditions than any Disney storyline could prepare her for. She's navigating the painful reality that her baby's daddy will always be connected to her, even as she tries to legally and emotionally detach. And it doesn't stop there. Yerky has other children from previous relationships, children who, by default, are now part of Skai's son's extended family. Whether they ever meet or not, the bond exists. It's written into the bloodline. That means her son is forever tied to a web of half-siblings and family dynamics she can't control. And as a mother, that adds a whole other layer of emotional labor. She's not just protecting herself anymore. She's shielding her child from a chaotic lineage while still trying to create a life that feels safe, grounded, and whole. It's a brutal truth that many women face. Even when the relationship ends, the connection doesn't. When there's a child involved, the consequences stretch across years, across homes, and across families that may never truly align. And now, fans and observers have a choice. They can either dive deep into the drama, or they can hold space for Skai as a young woman reclaiming her voice after being silenced and violated. What happened to Skai isn't entertainment, it's not clickbait, it's a very real reminder that choosing a partner is not just about who looks good on your arm or who makes you laugh in the moment. It's about who shows up when things get hard, who protects you when you're vulnerable, who respects your boundaries, even when you're at your lowest, because those choices aren't just for us, they're for our children, and they shape generations. For Skai, the hope now is not just for justice, it's for healing, for peace, for a future where her son never has to unlearn the very same things she's trying to survive. And for every young woman watching this unfold, may it be a lesson. Love yourself enough to leave at the first sign of danger.